Welcome back. Growing up, most of us didn't get the opportunity to learn about personal finance in school or at home. In fact, it was, and I think it still is, pretty taboo. But our next guest is trying to change that.
Not only is he the author of one of the only graphic novels on personal finance, but he's also here today to share how we can bring our kids into important conversations about money. Please welcome to the show entrepreneur and author of The Golden Quest, Your Journey to a Rich Life, David Delisle. Welcome to the show.
Oh, David, my son tore through this book, and I was like, what did you learn? He's like, I know how to manage my money better. He hasn't gotten into any details, but he loved it. So let's talk about why was it important for you to write a graphic novel specifically on personal finance?
Well, just the fact that I love that your son read it, and that's so exciting. You said your daughter as well. Money's so important, and we just don't teach it. And kids don't want to learn about it. Parents don't know how to teach about it. But they do like graphic novels. So it just made sense to make it into a fun adventure that kids could read, they want to read, and they learn from. So, yeah.
What I love is that you say we have been teaching kids the wrong way about money. Tell us about that.
So I think like most parents, one of the first things we want to teach our kids, saving. And there's nothing wrong with saving. We all want to teach saving. But usually when we teach it, it's of this idea of, what are you saving for? And what do you want to buy? And then as soon as they save for that thing, then they buy it, and then they're back and the cycle repeats itself. Yeah. And so they never actually save. We're teaching them consumerism. And so, right? And so I'm hoping to stop, hoping to stop that. So I'm hoping to break that cycle of endlessly chasing more and that idea of consumerism.
I love this. So let's talk about the right way to think about money. You say, I think kids will appreciate this, that we should only buy the awesome stuff. So explain what that means.
Yeah, so I've got 2 young boys. So yeah, I wrote the book in terms that they would get the awesome stuff. And you'll like this. It's like thinking of what's your pleasure.
Yes.
That's how I think of the awesome stuff. So what's really important to you? And that's how we break that cycle. Because if they're really focused on what's important to them and they understand that, that starts to become the conversation, not what you want next, but what really, you know, for me, what's my awesome stuff? For you, might be what's your pleasure?
Yeah.
And it's just that awareness and just being a little bit more reflective.
Gosh, it's something so simple, but what a paradigm shift, right? You said you've been saving money since you were 11, so you're obviously a gajillionaire now. But listen, why do you recommend having conversations about money with kids? There's a lot of parents out there who are like, they don't need to worry about this stuff.
Yeah, well, so almost all of us as parents were like, I wish our kids understood the value of money. And we spent all this money and they don't appreciate it. And yet we don't actually talk to them about money. And the only way to learn the value of money is by actually having those conversations. So you can start talking to your kids. As soon as they start asking for things that they want you to buy, that's when you can start talking about money. And so when I think of my boys when they're really young, I would talk in terms of like chocolate bars and Lego sets, because they understood that. So you want this teddy bear? That's about 10 chocolate bars. Or you want to get this bike? That might be 2 big Lego sets. And so they could all of a sudden start understanding the value of money, because that's really all it is having those conversations and understanding what things cost. And that's how we teach them, rather than send them out to school when they're 20 and they don't know how much anything costs.
Yeah.
It's so true.
It's true.
Okay, so we talked about buying the awesome stuff, which is the first golden rule of money, but you've got 3 others. What are they?
Yeah, so first golden rule, only buy the awesome stuff. Second is always save first. And again, because it's a kid's book, it's a dragon that teaches the story, so always save first or you'll spend it all on cookies. And it's this idea of just, budgeting doesn't usually work for most of us, so develop that habit so you don't have to think about it. Third golden rule is send your money to work today. And that's this idea of investing in compound growth. And that's something that a lot of us don't fully appreciate. So if we take someone like a Warren Buffett, who's thought as, you know, one of our financial gurus and a billionaire and has all this money and he's made all these great investments. In the next 7 to 10 years, if he invests the way he has in the past, his money's going to double again. And that's the power of compound interest. And so that's an important lesson. And then the fourth is one of my favorite, but one of the most difficult to sort of grasp and understand, is this idea of give and you'll have more. And it's trying to talk about giving in a way that it's not just one directional. There's some like it comes back to you and it makes you richer, and just again, all around this mindset of money and making these fun lessons that kids can do.
I
think fun is the operative word, because I think for kids, you don't want to be didactic about money, right? You want to make it fun so that the lesson is learned and they want to learn. So let's start with the first concept of buying awesome stuff. How do we teach that in a fun way?
So, and I'd love if this becomes just how we talk about money with our kids or parent. So when they're looking at something like an ice cream and they want the ice cream, instead of as parents saying like, we can't afford it or that's too much or anything that we might say, if we just pause and say, is that your awesome stuff? And that same child at any age, pausing, reflecting, like, is that my awesome stuff? Same with the idea of pleasure. Is that my thing? And you can see it doesn't really matter what they respond, but the fact that they paused and reflected, that changes everything. So I've got like a 7-day awesome stuff challenge, and it's just every time you're thinking of buying something, or if it's with your kids, they want something, just ask, is this my awesome stuff? Is that your awesome stuff? Do that for 7 days and notice how many things aren't that you thought maybe were.
It's a good
that's
challenge for
hitting.
all of us,
God,
right?
that's hitting. Oh my.
So what about some of the more complex concepts like saving and investing? How do we start integrating those kinds of lessons?
So everything I like to talk about with this is, again, make it fun, make it easy. So the book was written for kids, but actually it's actually an adult book. It's just that I put it for the kids so they could teach the adults. And so I want everything easy so we don't think about money. So back to the saving. If it's a habit and it's just set up, we don't think about it. And it's the habit of saving that's more important than anything else. Budgeting and wants versus needs, those things don't work. So set up that habit. And then investing, which is like, this is where most people get scared of financial literacy and they don't like it. It doesn't have to be as difficult as we think it is. Again, it's the habit of investing.
Yeah.
There are experts that can teach you how to invest and they can look after your money. So take your kids into the bank and they can, learn about investing. Or if you're investing yourself, take them in with your advisor and they can sit with that financial advisor and learn about money. Because most, even as adults, we don't know the mechanics. It's the habit of investing that's important, not the mechanics of it.
Yes. David, thank you so much for sharing your
So
money-saving
good.
wisdom. We all learned something today.
Yep.
And guess what, studio audience? You are going home with a copy of The Golden Quest today.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.